the New York Times that Donald Trump is going around asking senators, including our own Senator Roy Blunt here in Missouri, to stop the Senate Russia investigation?
Yeah, or, quickly speed it up so it gets to a conclusion. It's, I guess, not surprising, given even the public rhetoric from the White House of, the president expects this to get done, the Mueller investigation by the end of December. They want to see this done quickly. The lawyers have all publicly on the record said, they expect this will be finished quickly. But there certainly isn't an indication from Mueller, from the Senate Intel or the House Intelligence Committee, that any of this is close to wrapping up at this point. I mean, I think the sense we have gotten from lawmakers especially is that this is going to be done very methodically and very conscientiously, so that no stone is left unturned that they could come back to in a year and say we missed something.
Yeah, he's said this publicly. He's tweeted this. So why is it that big of a story that he said it privately to these people?
I guess the directed message of going to lawmakers and trying to say this, and like you say, we have seen this public pressure, but the fact that he's also doing it behind the scenes too, it shows where his head is on this, and how much he really doesn't like that this is all hanging over his administration, and how much he wants to get it done. Now, of course, critics will say, is that because he knows something is coming, or is that an attempt to obstruct justice? Everybody's jumping on it today, of course.
All right, you got that story, and we're going to talk to Roy Blunt in a couple minutes about that. Then you have the story where it seems like instead of telling Rex Tillerson they don't want him to be Secretary of State, they tell it or leak it to the news media?
Certainly not a ringing endorsement of Rex Tillerson yesterday. The president was asked by my colleague Cecilia Vega, do you want to see Tillerson stay on as Secretary of State? And his response was, Rex is here, which literally was true because he was at the White House yesterday. So the White House was trying to say that as, look, he's doing his job. If the president didn't have confidence in him, he wouldn't be in that job anymore. That as soon as that happens, the president would have gotten rid of him. That said, we know that there's a plan, has been in the works for a couple of weeks now, to replace Tillerson at some point, not imminently, but in the next few weeks, with the CIA director, Mike Pompeo, who's become a very big favorite of President Trump's. Right now it's like Tillerson's almost on borrowed time. He's in the job. The White House would only say yesterday that, he has confidence, but the president has confidence in Tillerson because he's still on the job.
Right.
But what does that mean about his ability to do his job, to act as the nation's top diplomat? Tillerson's heading to Europe next week for meetings with foreign ministers. Maybe he's looking excited to get out of Washington a little bit and try and get off the radar. But it's tough to do your job when there is very clear push for you to either get out or sending a strong message that we're about to replace you.
It sounds like they want Rex Tillerson to break up with them as opposed to Trump breaking up with Rex Tillerson.
I'm going to keep making this difficult for you so that eventually you just say, I've had enough. It's not me, it's you, it's definitely you.
Speaking of that, Britain and London and the Prime Minister of England not very happy with Donald Trump and his retweets.
No, yesterday we heard another reiteration of the message from the British Prime Minister's office and herself that the president shouldn't have done this. They're not happy. The mayor of London yesterday had said that the president should apologize, which is not happening. That's certainly not coming from this White House. Yesterday, Sarah Sanders was asked many questions about this, and she kept repeating what she had said to us on Wednesday, which was the president was making a point about national security. It's not about verifying these videos. Just brushing off any questions that have been raised about the retweets of something that isn't verified and what that message was when, these videos were just, people say, controversial, inflammatory, offensive. And the president presented them without comment. It's not like he added a message of, here is my point on border security or national security.
Right. Retweets are not necessarily an endorsement from the president.
Yeah. Exactly.
Was he disinvited from this visit in a few months?
So no, not the official state visit that had been extended earlier this year through the Queen and the British Prime Minister. There was some talk about what they were calling a working visit, maybe timed to the opening of a new embassy in London in January, but there's nothing on the schedule yet. So this is where everybody can kind of get their own points in there, but there's nothing on the schedule, so there's nothing to cancel, is what the White House is saying. Certainly there has been talk of a visit. As of right now, that's still just talk.
Gotcha. Karen Travers, ABC News correspondent. I'm sure 7 things have happened by the time you started talking to us and now.
I'm afraid to open my inbox.